Okay, well, welcome to Back to Basics. What I'm going to show you today is my wind barrier on my garden. We live in the country, as you probably noticed, and my garden faces north-south, so that's south, and this is north, and the wind always comes from the northwest. And so what I've planted here on the edge of my garden is sunflowers. And sunflowers make a great wind barrier. And not only that, they bring bees and other things to the garden to help pollinate and whatnot, bees in particular. And not only that, you get a whole whack of sunflower seeds at the end of the season. So what you can see is they've started to come up already. It goes to the end, and they come up kind of like a clover. Well, not a clover, a two-leaf plant. I guess it's more like a clover because there's two little guys that come in between. So here's a good example. So you can see there's the two big leaves, and then there's two smaller ones coming up in between. I've got them spaced about 6 inches apart, and it goes all the way across my garden. And they're up good, and yeah, and when they come up, they're going to prevent a lot of wind damage, particularly to my corn, which is planted right next to it. So sunflowers seeds, when you plant them, they literally look like a sunflower seed, like you would buy from the store. I bought these ones from Early's Farm and Garden Center in Saskatoon, and seeds are important. Buying them at Walmart might be a little bit cheaper, or Canadian Tire or whatever. But if you don't get good seed, you're not going to get good germination. And Early's always has good seed, so I really enjoy what product I get from them. So let's move on, because right next to my sunflowers, which are my wind barrier as they grow tall, and these ones are going to grow real tall. They'll be about 8-9 feet tall, and they have good bushy leaves on the sides of them, and they're going to give a nice barrier. So right beside them, I've got my first row of corn. It looks pretty barren right now because I just planted them. But what I want to show you is what they look like when they come up. Because if you've never seeded corn, they're hard to spot. And you're not sure if it's a leaf of grass or if it's actually a corn. So these guys are just coming up. And you can see these two right here. They just look like, you can see three in this view. They look like a blade of grass coming up. And once they get up, they look a little bit like this one. This one's got a weed right beside it. I'll just grab that weed. And they start to split open like that. I got 4 rows of corn behind my sunflower seeds. And corn's easy to plant, but you need a lot of space, and they need a lot of water. Should be about 3 feet apart in terms of spacing between rows. And just like, I seeded the beans, you want to dig a little bit of a ditch about 1 inch deep. And the seeds literally look like a kernel of corn. Put them in the ground, cover them up with about 1 inch of dirt. They take probably 2 weeks to come up, but they need a fair amount of water, and even when they're up, they need lots of water. And so that's why the sunflowers are real nice beside them, because they too need a lot of water. So I've got 1 row of sunflower seeds and then 4 rows of corn, and those sunflowers are going to help protect the corn from the wind, because where I live in the country here, there's quite a bit of wind. You know, if you're a garden box grower, you can grow corn. Don't be deceived by my big garden here. You can grow corn, just don't put anything else in it, in your garden box with it. You want to make sure that it's at least a 3x8 box, and you can for sure get one good row of corn out of that. And each corn cob you probably get, or not cob, but corn plant, you probably get a dozen cobs. So when you think about it, a 6x3 box, and you've probably got 10, 12 plants in there. That's a lot of corn. And it's not sprayed. You don't know what chemicals have been put on the corn that we buy in the stores. That's why growing your own is perfect, because you know what you've put in your soil, and you don't have to spray it with anything. They just grow, and perfect organic vegetables. So that's it for today at Back to Basics.